All right, over here in the bottom left corner, we have from TSL, Team SCV Life. It is Revival. And in the top right, we have from Team Root Gaming. It's not Kitty, it's not Princess, it's not even Windy, it is Major. And that is the name he has settled on. Major, you know, we always kind of say one of the most misunderstood people in esports, but he's really, really a nice guy. And I think people are really starting to enjoy him, especially if you saw him on Save the Game. Just a hilarious dude. Love being able to interact with him. And I love asking him about, like, you know, his home country. He's very passionate about, you know, the things in Mexico. In fact, if you ask him, like, what do you wish his superpower was, he would say to end corruption in Mexico. So.
Well, I was going to make a joke, but you made it impossible for me to do so.
I'm sorry, man. I'm stealing your joke playmaking ability.
No, I was going to make a terrible joke about Major and his love for fine Mexican dining.
I asked him what he thought about Taco Bell and Del Taco, and then he just said it's not real food. He just said there's nothing like having a taco in Mexico.
Which is funny because his team captain Katz loves Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And tried to take the team there like every night.
He convinced us. We almost got in trouble trying to walk through the drive-thru.
Yeah, man, you can't do that.
So, someone said it was like illegal to actually do that.
Yeah, I was the one saying that.
Oh, that was you. And it was really funny because we were holding a camera too, and it just looked so suspicious, you know, like a group of like, it's like a group of like 8 to 9 guys at like 2 in the morning trying to go to Taco Bell by walking through, holding a camera.
There's really only a handful of events that could lead up to such a thing happening, and that is why walking through the Taco Bell drive-thru is illegal.
It's funny too because like it's like, well, okay, Juan, you don't want Taco Bell, you don't want Del Taco, you don't want this. What would you like? And he's like, anything with the taco. And we're like, why? You have tacos every day? And it's like, yeah, but I love tacos. And just ask
really
him what Major about tacos.
He really is a very funny guy. And I love the way he talks. He's always so happy, even though sometimes he comes off as being a little bit difficult to deal with. He's a fun guy and a very happy-go-lucky guy. He has a very genuine smile. He just has these very happy cheeks.
He was
that
very
you just want to squeeze.
Like a little squirrel, like dramatic squirrel.
He has Locira cheeks, man.
Yeah, but Locira's like more than a squirrel. He's a chipmunk. He's like Locira is the 4th member of Alvin and Chipmunks.
Alvin, Simon, Theodore, and Locira.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be like the next. That would be like the sequel, you know. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think Locira would fit in really nice.
You think Locira can sing though?
I'm sure he's beautiful. He can play the piano at least for them. Cause you ever seen him play the piano? The guy's like, it's like a spite. I think the best way to describe it was when you watch Locira's playing, like StarCraft. His hands look like a spider on ice, like a little dumb spider just keeps tripping on itself, non-stop, because his appendages just go everywhere. Massive Ling run by here for the Revival. This is pretty standard timing for Zerg to kind of pressure, make 20 Zerglings.
Hellions don't want to get caught. Major's going to lose a couple of SCVs here, and his Hellions are taking a lot of damage. If he loses the Hellions, this is going to get scary. He is actually going to lose all these Hellions. What a great attack here from Revival. Made that big swell of Zerglings, ends up killing 5 workers, ends up killing all of Major's initial units, and even forces this command center to lift. So first blood drawn once more by Revival. And all of a sudden, Major is again in this awkward position of being behind in workers, being kind of contained up into his main base, while Revival drones freely, expands everywhere, and techs up to layer. So Revival has so many options. I think we're going to see him play Muta this time.
I like this adaptation too because the whole purpose of getting a bunker on the low ground by the ramp back maybe just a few months ago was to defend Zergling run-bys like this that Koreans were employing en masse. And I think Major was trying to go for a little bit more of the greedier route, but now he's recovered. He didn't lose that many SCVs. It's just that his production has been halted because normally he would like double pump them, while Revival has been making them en masse also, considering that he is going to be up in the mid-50s and going for a Spire. Wow, Revival is just powering his economy so hard.
Yep, he doesn't have a big bank of gas just yet, but he's working on 4 geysers. He's got plenty of time to acquire some of that important gas. Major, in the meantime, he's on 3 racks. He does have a couple of reactors. He can produce a lot of Marines, and he will have Stim. He will have Medivacs. Those are all very important parts to defending Mutaplay. But one thing he is missing, one very important component, is that engineering bay. There it is, starting to build up in the top of his main base. So he will have at least access to turrets. +1, probably not going to be ready in time for these first mutas, though.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be tough for Major to hold. It's just going to be another way that his economy is stalled. You know, like he has to spend minerals on missile turrets, not Marines. He has to get a little bit more stack defense, make his SCVs not mine for a little bit in order to do so. And that's just kind of annoying for Revival or for Major to deal with. But Revival also has to be cautious because this is how that Major pulls himself back in the games. Hellions, poking, killing drones, denying creep. But so far so good for Revival.
Small mistake by Revival. He's oversaturated his main and his naturally. He's got a few too many drones mining at each of those bases. Tiny, not that important of a mistake, but if he was staying more on top of that, he would have more money at his disposal. He would have more gas, and he'd be able to make more than just these first 7 initial mutas. Major still being very aggressive with these Hellions. Good job. Soften up these queens a lot. Revival does not want to lose that queen, but he will lose that queen. And Major's going to continue to press here, so Revival might actually have to run these workers.
Yeah, the mutas are going to also try to engage with the Zerglings. Major needs to get a good position to stim. He's not able to really focus down any of the mulas. Zerglings should be able to clean everything up in a nice defense. Man, all those drones were so weak. If Major was able to force himself behind the minerals, maybe a different story considering Medivacs were out onto the field and rushing over to the scene. Major doesn't even have combat shields, and that's also an incredibly useful upgrade for Zergling Baneling compositions, or Zergling Muta compositions, rather.
Major's in a lot of trouble right now, Dan. He's forced back onto 2 bases, does not have a 3rd command center, does not have really much. He doesn't have a very solid answer to the army composition of Revival. I mean, Marines will be good against mutas eventually, but they're not yet. Siege tanks don't have siege mode, so Baneling busts are also very dangerous at this stage of the game. And Revival is blowing up economically. He's gone up to 80 drones. He's probably going to be taking another base, maybe even another 2 bases here, as he has complete map control. This is a great position for Revival to be in. He has got 100% lockdown on this game right now.
I like the fact that he's going +1 care pace on his air for his Mulas, as well as it's going to be very useful in the late game on his Broodlords if he ever chooses to go for them, if he ever needs them, in fact. It's also because Major now has to make this awkward decision. He needs to get out tanks and to protect himself in case of there's any kind of huge Baneling attacks, because just Marines and Bio won't cut it against that kind of composition. But if he does so, then how is he going to ever really try to fit in expansions while exploding up his own production? And that's kind of why Terrans love going an earlier 3rd command center, because you can afford all that when you get a steady mid-game economy. But now Major has to make a really rough decision. Does he make a push? Does he go for a 3rd base, or does he, in fact, just sit back and wait for something to happen?
Bro, Banelings at the bottom of Major's ramp will be scanned, will be killed. Nice awareness there to make sure that he doesn't walk over some big, scary landmines. 150 supply for Revival, 125 supply for Major. Army supplies are pretty even, though, with Major slightly ahead in that regard. Banelings being morphed and a lot of Zerglings and Mutas on the production tab, as Revival is going to commit to this layer tech army. He's going to try to end the game, or at least going to try and get through the mid-game without going up to Hive Tech.
Major needs to do massive amounts of damage, Ben. I mean, Revival's going on 5 base while Major's still on 2. 13 Banelings are in production on top of the 10 that already exist, and so that's still lots of AoE, but Major, if he spreads out everything correctly, he should be able to hypothetically split, and that's the benefit of just fighting on the outskirts of creep. Major doing this very slowly, trying to make sure to send only a few Marines. In fact, he's backing off. And wow, there's no 3rd command center yet for Major, just trying to reinforce himself and try to pick a better position. But at the same time, Revival might be able to catch him when he's on siege, Ben.
2-base Major has no way of replacing an army if he loses it. And Mutas and Banelings will crash into these Marines and siege tanks, and Major is in huge trouble. He's going to lose this entire fighting force, and he knows that he is dead in the water. GG gets called. Revival, after dropping Ohana, honestly a little bit controversially, but being a very good sport about it, goes on to win on Cloud Kingdom. He also won on that other map that we played.
In Tomb Valley.
In Tomb Valley.
That's right.
For the 2-1 victory. Great play there by Revival.
I think one thing that was really interesting was that Major was trying to show like he was going to show restraint. You know, I'm going to kill his base, maybe get my third up and try to play from there. But he really wanted to double back around that alleyway, and Revival met him there because imagine if tanks were sieged, Marines could split up. Those banelings would have done nothing. They were off creep. They would have been incredibly slow, and there's nothing that was able to do for Revival if Major prepared. But because he was able to meet him there, I think Revival was predicting Major to swing back around. That was an awesome call because he knew no third was floating over his Zergling at the third base. Great decision by Revival.
Yeah, great play in general from Revival. That last game brought to you guys by Epson Projectors, the world's leading projector brand. Head over to epson.com/projectors where you can find out more info and pick up your own. We're going to take a short break. Our regularly scheduled NASL broadcast will resume when we get back. Big day for Division 3 and for the North American Star League. You guys aren't going to want to miss any of the action. StarCraft 2 is really just beginning. We have so much still to come.